Hello, I'm Kimberly and welcome to the weekend edition of the Native News Update. It's Friday, February 10th. Many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. Here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The Oglala Sioux tribe has sued some of the world's largest beer makers, claiming they not only contributed to devastating alcohol-related problems on South Dakota's Pine Ridge Reservation. The tribe said it is demanding $500 million in damages for the cost of health care, social services, and child rehabilitation caused by chronic alcoholism on the reservation. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court of Nebraska also targets 4 beer stores in White Clay, a Nebraska town near the reservation's border, that despite having only about a dozen residents, sold nearly 5 million cans of beer in 2010. Tribal leaders and activists blame the White Clay businesses for chronic alcohol abuse and bootlegging on the Pine Ridge Reservation, where all alcohol is banned. They say most of the store's customers come from the reservation, which spans southwest South Dakota and dips into Nebraska. The lawsuit alleges that the beer makers and stores sold to Pine Ridge residents knowing they would smuggle the alcohol into the reservation to drink or resell. Legislators in Panama have agreed to reconsider a law on dams and mining that set off disruptive protests by Indians and their supporters. The decision is a partial victory for the ngobe-bugle tribe, which has led highway blockades since January 30th to oppose the new law. Its initial approval last month drew anger because it would theoretically allow the construction of dams on Indian lands in western Panama. A congressional commission decided on February 8th to return the law to debate, and Indian representatives and legislators have begun discussion on possible modifications. A 3-member panel of the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco on February 9th ruled unanimously in favor of Arizona Snowbowl in a case designed to derail the ski resort's plan to install snowmaking system using reclaimed water. The court called the latest attempt by Native Americans and environmentalists to block the snowmaking plan a gross abuse of the judicial process, noting that the current litigation involves many of the same plaintiffs and the same attorney that unsuccessfully filed an earlier action against the plan. Members of 6 Southwest tribes have tried for more than a decade to stop the plan, as the ski area is located in the San Francisco peaks they consider sacred. Snowbowl has negotiated an agreement to buy treated wastewater from the nearby city of Flagstaff, Arizona, and pipe it to the resort. After first failing to stop the plan on religious grounds, a second lawsuit was filed on the basis that more thorough environmental analysis of the health risk associated with using treated wastewater for snowmaking should take place before the project moves forward. The plaintiffs are currently considering an appeal of this decision, while ski area officials hope to have the snowmaking system up and running in time for the 2012-2013 ski and snowboard season. The descendants of former slaves of Muskogee Nation members have petitioned the U.S. government to be recognized as their own tribe, a move that could set a legal precedence for thousands of Indian freedmen descendants around the country. If accepted, the petition could make the Creek freedmen descendants the first such group to become their own separate tribe. The group's leaders are now waiting for BIA officials to confirm that they have accepted the petition and have begun reviewing it. Freedmen were the former slaves of Indians and were guaranteed full rights and privileges to the tribes to which they had belonged in the U.S. Treaty of 1866. The descendants have since become a central part of tribal sovereignty issues, as several tribes, including the Cherokee Nation, have also voted to expel freedmen descendants from their ranks. The Gila River Indian Community has spoken once again to not allow any freeway on tribal land. Now the question is whether or not the Loop 202 extension will continue on the Pecos Road alignment. Gila River Governor Gregory Mendoza said there's been a great deal of passion on both sides of this issue, from those who advocate for the economics of building this freeway to those who worry it could harm South Mountain and the environment. Tonight he said he had a clear direction from the community. Our voters don't want to see this freeway built, not on tribal land or off tribal land. While the vote does eliminate the chance for Loop 202 being built on tribal land, it does not guarantee that the freeway won't be built at all. The Arizona Department of Transportation will continue with environmental impact studies on the Pecos Road alignment. Once the draft of that study comes out, it will be open for the public to review and comment. The draft is estimated to come out sometime this summer. 4 tribes in Kansas have received $1.6 million in Indian Housing Block Grant allocations from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The funds are intended to primarily benefit low-income families living on Indian reservations or in other communities. The amount of each grant is based on the formula that considers local needs and housing units under management of the tribe or a designated entity. The recipients included the Housing Authority for the Iowa Tribe of Kansas and Nebraska, the Housing Authority of the Sac and Fox Nation of Missouri, the Kickapoo Tribe Housing Authority of Kansas, and the Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation. Wildlife biologists have sounded a new alarm regarding the Keystone XL tar sands. Expanding oil and gas production is contributing to the decline of caribou herds in Alberta, Canada. Canada's proposed solution to habitat destruction from tar sands development is to destroy the wolves that prey on the caribou instead of protecting their habitat. 2 methods of destroying wolves, shooting wolves from helicopters and poisoning wolves with bait laced with strychnine, would be carried out in response to the caribou declines. Canada's Minister of Environment, Peter Kent, said in September that thousands of Alberta wolves will need to be killed to rescue caribou impacted by tar sands development. Those trying to save the wolves believe rather than killing wolves, he should be stopping the habitat destruction and restoring habitat associated with tar sands production. Without healthy habitat, the decline of caribou is inevitable, no matter how wolves are managed. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.